Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Let's begin our tutorial. Python syntax. Python syntax can be executed as you're writing directly in the command line. This is a syntax. Or by creating a Python file that I explained before. If you wanna repeat it, let's change directory to D, where my file is located. At certain you type Python and type the name of that file. You save it as python.py. I save the document .py and hit enter button. Python can open file in no such file. Really? Oh, I spelled it right. Okay, let me see. Document.py. Let it do again. Can open file document.py. No such file directory. Oh, excuse me. It was at L drive. No, it wasn't that in D drive. Python document.py. Okay, that's it. Just navigate to where you saved that document, that Python file, and then execute it with parenting Python and document.py and your file .py. Let's continue. Or if you can, your file is on the server, just navigate that address. Python indentation. Indentation refers to the spaces at the beginning of code line, like this. This is an indentation, where other programming language indentation in code is for readability. Indentation in Python is very important. In many other programming language you use curly brackets. Curly brackets and this sign. But in Python you use indentation instead. If you remove indentation, Python gives you and syntax error. Let's print in our environment. We write if 5 greater than 2 and indentation print that is true. Okay, just save it in our Python file. Document.py. And save it, and then we want to execute and Python navigate to that file, document.py. Invalid syntax. Why it encounters with an error? Please reopen these and save. Document.py. That's true. But if we write if we ignore this indentation and save it, look what happens. We encounter with a interpreter error. Python document .py. Expected an indent block that led to an interpreter error here. On the indentation is very important. You can use one space, two space, or more space. It is up to you as a programmer. It doesn't matter. Also, you have to use the same number of space in same block of code, otherwise Python will give an error. Syntax error. This line of code encounters with an error. List it. You can also for example look at Online Python interpreter and hit navigate to an online Python interpreter. Let's copy that piece of code and paste. We will execute it. You see unexpected indents. Should remove this indentation and then run it. Let's its output 5 is greater than 2. 5 is greater than 2. It executes without interpreter error. If we use 2 or more print, we shouldn't use indentation for each print. It all starts with same origin. Yeah. And Python variables. In Python, variables are created when you assign a value to it. For example, if you write x equals to 5, Python considered that x is an integer. In some other programming language that we should write integer x, for example, and if you write y equals between two double quotation marks, Python consider y as a string. Python has no comment for declaring a variable. In variable chapter we learn more about this. Comments. Python comments starts with a hash mark. When we use hash mark in the beginning of the line code, Python consider it as comment. We just copy that piece of code or just we comment this line of code and we run it. Indentation 1, 2, 3. Does it have indentation? Yeah. because we removed this line of code. Consider no, it executes two lines. 5 is greater than 2. We have this two line of code, and this is our answer. Okay, that's Python syntax, and a small example of Python syntax. Thanks for watching.